Good morning. Madam Mayor, thanks for hosting us, and more importantly, thanks for giving us time last night. And the city manager, thank you for putting us at the top of the agenda. We can't thank you enough for that. So, Madam Mayor, you want to open up?
Well, first of all, I want to piggyback on that. We very much appreciated the report, including the video from Lieutenant Tucker's efforts and the recap from Captain McKnight. It was very helpful, I think, for the council, city management, and the residents. So I want to thank you for that. If you haven't read the banners up and down 1792 or the one here at the back, I'll clue you in. This is the 30th year that we have just celebrated the 30th anniversary of DeBary as a city. But there is a subsequent anniversary as well. It is also the 30th anniversary of DeBary contracting policing services to the sheriff. You have been there since the beginning, and so we have found this a very meaningful partnership for us. It works for DeBary, and we enjoy the teamwork that has always been present between the Sheriff's Department and the city of DeBary. Now, we've done a couple of commemorative things here in the city for this occasion, and one is a cookie with a symbol of our city you may recognize. So I would like to present the sheriff with a challenge coin for the 30th anniversary.
Well, thank you, Mayor. Thank you very much.
And your cookie with Clayton.
I like it.
Yeah. As well as Captain McKnight, who serves us currently. And where is Lieutenant Tucker?
Right here.
Right here.
Now, Katie Plesky's going to get mad at this. You've got a presentation and a cookie and a challenge coin.
Cookie and a challenge coin. So thank you very much from the entire city, and thank you for the successful partnership that we've had for now 30 years.
Madam Mayor, thank you for saying that. As you know, it is a true partnership. And since I've been the sheriff working with the city manager, and I'm sure all of us in here, as the vice mayor said, some point in time, everybody has cycled through here. So thank you for your incredible support. This is truly an honor to police this city. It really is. So with that, Lieutenant, Captain, whichever one of you want to go, take it away.
Morning, Sheriff.
Morning.
So, as we said last night, we went over the 2023 year in review. We're here for the month of January, but let me go over some stats for 2023 for our traffic unit. For the entire year of 2023 in District 6, the deputies completed 8,517 traffic stops and issued 4,568 tickets and 2,279 warnings. Now, specifically for the city of DeBary, there was 5,000 traffic stops, 2,712 tickets, and 655 warnings. So these folks that are working in this area are being very proactive, and they're making themselves visible, which also contributes to the safety of the city.
I think we do have to thank you for your foresight in strategically planning to give us that extra traffic officer, which I think really helped us out a lot in doing that.
Absolutely.
I think that was absolutely the right move.
Yeah. Investigators, you can't push the damn button and get it to work?
We're just trying to turn it off, turn it back on, make sure it works.
And behind me in the audience is the traffic unit. Who's back there?
You guys want to?
Sergeant Barnes, you want to stand up with your unit? As well as our newest patrol sergeant is Dennis Gonzalez.
How come you never answer up when we ask for a Spanish-speaking officer? That's all he knows.
So for the month of January, for our stats so far this month, we've started off the year nice and strong. We've done 965 traffic stops, issued 478 tickets, and 246 warnings. So we've hit the ground running in 2024 and keeping the pressure on.
I think one of the things you should know, too, is we showed it last night. There are times that we do like a complete west side blitz, and obviously you benefit from that because it brings in extra resources that aren't really assigned to the city.
Yep. So we'll get into the crime real quick. And I got to tell you, the deputies here make us look good. I mean, they're doing all the work out there. I got to talk about it. So, as far as domestic violence cases for the month, we had 2 aggravated domestic violence cases that were both cleared by arrest. We had 15 domestic violence simple cases. 13 of them were cleared by arrest, and 2 of them were filed with the state attorney's office. When we go to property crimes, we had a burglary at 257 East High Banks. This was a known suspect to the victim. I think it was the grandson that burglarized the residence, and he was arrested for his crime. The next burglary we have is 249 Hazeltine Drive in DeBerry. Overnight, an unknown suspect entered the garage and then entered a vehicle, a Mercedes-Benz, and stole items from within, as well as inside there they stole some credit cards and then used the credit cards at another location, and our detectives have this case.
This one is assigned to Detective Martin. Around 3 o'clock in the morning is when the incident occurred where they went into the side garage door. It was accidentally unlocked, and they went into the car. A couple hours later, the credit cards were used in the Walmart in Sanford. And with the LPRs, we were able to identify a vehicle, which gave us a suspect named. 2 juveniles were involved. One of them does live in Lake Mary. So the affidavit has been sent to the state attorney's office for review for arrest warrants, or we're just waiting on that. Should be today or tomorrow.
This is a good time for me to have Lieutenant Tucker kind of explain the difference between UCR, which we used to have, and then our new fibers and NIBRS reporting system, because this case kind of highlights how it works and what the changes are.
Good morning. As I briefly spoke about last night, from January to May of last year, we were still under the old crime reporting UCR. We switched in June and are currently still using it. The example that I gave last night is a perfect highlight for this case. So the example that I gave was if you had left your garage unlocked and a individual went into your open garage and then entered into your vehicle, stole some belongings from out of that vehicle and took some credit cards and started spending it. In the past, that would have been reported as one single incident. Although there were multiple criminal charges the defendant would ultimately be charged with, as far as we reported it would have came down to 1. Now we have to report each individual portion of that, so it takes an incident that would have normally been 1 and making it into 4, increasing the crime numbers exponentially. But what's important to know is it's still a single instance where crime occurred. It's just being reported as the different types of crime for the FBI statistics, and when we make the arrest, all of those crimes that we had to report would be cleared. So the amount of crime that actually occurred and the clearances will remain the same as we move forward.
Carla, you know these 2 little cherubs?
Yes, they have criminal histories when they lived in Volusia County, but now they're no longer in the county. They've moved.
They just came back to commit crimes in the
Yes, they just came back to commit crimes.
Our last burglary to talk about for this period is at 294 Jarvis Avenue. The victim had his shed broken into. This appears to be like a landlord-tenant issue. The suspect in this case is the landlord, and CID has this case as well.
The shed that he's speaking of is actually where the victim lives. He lives in a shed on the property. When he came home, the windows were broken out. A lot of his property was strewn out in the backyard, which it's not a neat backyard anyway, so it's hard to decipher how long that stuff had been sitting there. He did provide some items that were stolen, but was unable to provide any serial numbers, so we're unable to locate those in the pawn shops. This one is still active to Detective Martier.
I'm going to cover some fraud information. We've had a couple of frauds. We've seen an uptick in some Bitcoin frauds. We are working on a public service announcement to get out to countywide. We'll also get that to the city of DeBerry. I don't know if CID wants to touch on the Bitcoin trends we've had.
Yeah, you might as well touch on them all, and then touch on the one we've seen this week with the sheriff's office calling, or the United States Marshals. I think we're probably close to 60,000 or more was taken in those scams.
So the Bitcoin stuff is is the new trend, and it's been going on for the past couple of years. They're able to get a lot more money through Bitcoin, and it's very easy. A lot of the suspects are out of the country. We've talked about this before. There was an incident here in the Berry where an individual lost about, was it $70,000?
70 or 80 something.
Right. And the problem is a lot of this money is going to exchanges that are out of the country that don't have to cooperate with law enforcement, and they don't. In this case, that exchange, which was unknown to us, is not law enforcement friendly. So we got no response, which brings me to the prevention part. And the public announcement is a good thing. Also, setting up fraud prevention seminars. We just had one last weekend, I believe, or the weekend before that, where I attended. That was in Holly Hill. It was at an Islamic center that set up. They brought their elderly folks there. We had a great presentation for several hours, and it's very helpful. The other trends where they call and they say they're with the sheriff's office or law enforcement agency, again, they target different types of demographics. That scam typically involves gift cards. But it's the same thing. Once they get the gift card numbers, the money goes into digital wallets. So that's the new trend, which makes it very, very, very hard to recover funds or identify a suspect. In that case, prevention is the most important part.
So this one we're talking about is an 83-year-old DeBarry resident gets a phone call saying he won $1 million. He owes $48,000 in taxes, and during the course of the week, he makes withdrawals. Finally, the bank catches on after he's into it for $35,000. Then you have one where somebody calls and says they're from the United States Marshal Service, and they make this person, and this person was born in '93, withdraw $8,100 and turn it into Bitcoin to turn it in. And then we've had others this week where Captain Perry from the Volusia County Sheriff's Office is calling. There's a warrant out for your arrest for missing jury duty. You have to pay $5,000 or we're coming to lock you up. And we did do a PSA that that's not how the government works. Not the IRS, not the Sheriff's Office, not immigration. Nobody asks for money. But unfortunately, you know, if they make 1,000 phone calls and they get one person, it's worth their time and effort. So.
No legitimate business is going to be using Bitcoin for anything.
Right,
Either
FP&L, no matter who it is.
And to piggyback off the Bitcoin, the most recent one where they deposited $8,100 into it was a Bitcoin ATM machine here in DeBarry. The victim has actually called it their home while they lived in Orlando, so this case is actually going to go to Orlando PD. But Detective Martier go and looked at the Bitcoin machine, and there's warnings on there that tell folks, hey, don't send money to people you don't know. You're possibly being scammed type thing. So they're getting warned. They're not listening. So I think doing more announcements and meeting with the public more will help that.
So we'll get into our theft cases. We had a shoplifting at the CVS in Orange City. $48 worth of items were stolen from within the store. They have identified a suspect and are solidifying probable cause before we can make an arrest in this case. We had a theft at 101 Cardinal Drive in DeBarry. Unknown suspect stole a package out of the mailbox worth $10. We have the suspect's described as a white female, approximately 40 years of age. We've done multiple canvasses. There's no video, there's no surveillance, and there's no leads. This case has been suspended. We have a theft at 9 Valleywood Drive in DeBarry. The victim was hosting a yard sale and an iPhone was stolen. We tracked down the iPhone and the suspect. The victim does not want to pursue this case, so this was cleared by exception. And then we have a theft of a motorcycle tag at 133 Columba Road. I'm not sure if the tag fell off the motorcycle or if somebody actually stole off the motorcycle, but this has been entered as stolen. There are no leads, but no hits on our license plate readers, and this case has been suspended. And the last theft that we have is 5 landscaping lights were stolen, and this was not in view of their surveillance cameras. We have no leads on this case, no video, no evidence at all, and this case has been suspended. And then we have a DV case, 21 Pleasant Hill Drive, where the defendant was taken into custody for battery. And then the last case we have to talk about is a trespass at 1990 Knowlton, and a defendant was arrested for being previously trespassed, and he trespassed again, was taken into jail.
What else you got?
That's all I got for crime, and I'll turn it over to.
So explain about a clear by exception. I don't know if people
Yeah,
understand.
yeah. So a clear by exception case means we have every opportunity that we can arrest the suspect. All leads have been followed up. We have probable cause to arrest somebody, but the victim either does not want to pursue it, or there are other circumstances. Maybe the suspect may have died, or whatever the case is. We have everything we need to put that person in jail, but there are mitigating circumstances why we can't.
Carla, you want to talk about what we're seeing with the juveniles that are coming in, especially with the vaping?
We have the Family Resource Center, and where juveniles come in, and juveniles that are on probation are being drug tested, and the kids are vaping, and in the vapes, we're finding morphine, fentanyl, cocaine, that in the kids' system, along with marijuana. So they're not aware what they're getting because they're buying it off the black market.
What else you want to touch on with juveniles?
I will say, putting the school resource officers in all of the middle schools, we have seen a decrease in the fighting that's been happening in the schools. So we're having less cost to law enforcement for things that are happening. So it's been a positive impact.
Todd, you agree with that, Captain? Yes, sir. Okay, I just saw the face that you made, so I just had to want to. Michael, you want to touch on narcotics, and who's going to do ODTF? You take it? Okay.
For narcotics, and just to touch on the vaping issue, I've talked to you in the past, Mayor, about issues of the gas stations. We've gotten Crime Stoppers tips on people selling alcohol and vapes to minors, so that's a continuing thing that we're going to do. We just did one a few months ago in DeBerry, and we'll be back whenever we do a West Side operation. So, as far as OD deaths, last year, obviously one is too many. In the county, we had 238. Four. So that just speaks a little bit for DeBerry and how well kept the city is. So, stats, the last 3 months, at least in the city of DeBerry, we executed 3 residential search warrants. We got a couple guns off the streets. We do have 10 active cases right now in the city. So those should be closed and wrapped up here in the next few months, and we're anticipating future search warrants as well. I think we got 50 grams of methamphetamine. So compared to Orange City and DeLand, it's much more quiet, and we go over that every single meeting. But nothing's really changed. We still get active cases. We're still continuing to investigate with the cooperation of Delta Narcotics and West Side. So,
You want to touch on, just from the macro position, what happened a couple days this week, the seizures, the arrests that were made?
Sure. A couple nights ago, we're still working active cases. It's countywide, some in New Smyrna, some in Daytona. We got from one residence, I think it was 15, almost 16 pounds of methamphetamine out of a house. In Daytona, which it was tied to, we got, I think it was 400 grams of fentanyl, if I'm correct, maybe a little bit more than that. Luckily, that was on the east side of the county and didn't trickle over here, but we're still putting all the pieces together. So more seizures are going to be forthcoming. I think we got about $40,000 in cash of drug money, and we're working on a vehicle seizure right now. So
it's been a busy week, just goes to show you that when you look at the big picture, what stuff we're dealing with. Thank you, Michael. Paul, you want to hit ODTF or
Yes, sir.
Dave?
So the Overdose Task Force was put together in October. We spoke about it last CompStat. Since October 1st, they've investigated about 30-plus cases. None actually in DeBerry, just because none of the criteria met, which is a good thing. Currently, there are 3 cases that are being actively reviewed by the state attorney's office. 2 actually put murder charges on the person who sold them the drugs. That resulted in their death. Also, about 15 families have been referred to the Volusia Recovery Alliance, our partner in the task force, and they're still actively engaged in the recovery efforts.
So you know how that works is you have a sergeant, 2 detectives, and 2 narcotics investigators. They respond to every death, and they try to backtrack and hit the dealer. And I've been out with our SWAT team. Omar's here, Ben's here. When they hit these houses within a very short period of time to grab these individuals. There's one woman in particular that you guys did the first week of January, she sold to an unsuspecting person, with the unsuspecting person believed to be, I think it was Percocets or one of those opioids, and it was 100% fentanyl, and after she took the pill, she was dead within an hour of taking the pill. And we were able to, with the SWAT team and narcotics, to whack that house and grab her. Interestingly enough, she had sold like a month prior to somebody in Daytona. There was a death was associated with her, and she was out on bond on that. So it's kind of interesting to see the work that they're doing and how quickly they're able to go after some of these people. So that was pretty good. You want to touch on our technology that's up and running with NIBINs and ShotSpotter?
Yep. So NIBIN, the National Integrated Ballistic Information Network, we started that in November. Our crime scene unit has entered about 150 crime guns into the system. We've had 5 leads so far, linking. The first one was a DeLand PD case to a sheriff's office case. Then we had DeLand to DeLand, Daytona to VSO, and then VSO to Fort Lauderdale. All those are being actively pursued. Our most recent one was just a couple days ago, which was East Volusia Narcotics recovered a gun during a search warrant, which then linked to a 2015 ag assault case down in Miami. So the detectives are working through that. Raven, which is the detection of gunfire, that's in the DeLand area. What it does is there's all audio listening devices out in the field, and it detects gunfire. It will triangulate the position to about within 90-foot radius. So then what happens is it automatically alerts either our central or our crime center, and then a deputy will be sent out. Sometimes a 911 call won't even come in for it, so we're responding to a call self-generated by the system. The deputies then go out, see if they can find who's doing what, and then try and find the ballistic evidence that can then be put into NIBIN. It resulted, I believe, last week to...
Last week, the guy that fired the gun,
and
they were able to respond immediately and make an arrest. It was an argument between 2 drunks. The guy pulled out a gun and fired a couple shots, but the technology was so good they were there within seconds to make the arrest. So it was pretty interesting stuff. You want to talk about live 911?
Yes, sir. So we're on the point of technology here, which the technology helps us greatly. So out at Central, we have implemented Live 911, which is every deputy's patrol car. They get the call real time. And this has already paid dividends. In fact, I'm in talks with the fire departments and EMS to let them get a try at it so they could get a little jump on these calls. It's saving anywhere from 30 seconds to 5 minutes on calls as they're taking them in, as the deputies listen real time. I went out with a deputy in Deltona last Friday, and we grabbed one 911 call. We were there before they even started dispatching. So it's just great technology. And every time we put something out the city, I applaud the city with the LPRs. As you heard with the burglary, that helps us shore up a case. So, and technology is the way to go. So,
Julian, you want to touch on what we're seeing with these migrant crimes, where we're seeing a lot of stuff going from coming up here, doing a crime, and taking it to South Florida? We talked about it yesterday a little bit.
Yeah, so this is a real problem because a lot of these people come here, they obtain fake IDs. Even when they're stopped by the police, they present the fake ID. We end up charging them. Sometimes we get arrest warrants on these people, and they're under fake names. Unfortunately, what's contributing to this is a lot of cities and states out of Florida are providing IDs to people with no questions asked. You go present yourself, say my name is such and such. You get an ID. So we have groups of all these migrants renting vehicles from private individuals out of Miami. Of course, they get these fake IDs with fake names. They rent a vehicle from a private individual. They travel throughout I-95. They commit burglaries. They break into cars. They steal credit cards. They make purchases with those credit cards. They use fake tags on the vehicles that are not captured by LPR. So it's a real issue, and it all stems from the border.
Thank you for that. Eric, you want to talk about training, recruitment, and pursuing national accreditation?
It's on. Okay. Hey, good morning. My name is Eric Egan. I'm the Training Academy Director for the Sheriff's Office. We're anticipating starting our our 7th Police Academy class in the end of May, beginning of June. We're actually looking at new deputy training where we hire law enforcement officers with experience, and we also put them through a training program. We're looking at probably April starting that class. And then as far as accreditation, we are going before the CALIA, which is the National Accreditation Program, and in March, and getting recognized as being accredited training academy. And we have a triple accreditation. Our agency is nationally accredited. Our communication center is accredited, and now our training center will be accredited. And I think we're the third.
We're the third. FHP and City of Miami are the only two in the state that have that triple certification. And what that means is we meet or exceed national standards. And for us just starting our own academy in 2021, was it 2022? It's unheard of. Even the assessors that came in said for you to apply the first time out and to get a perfect score in this it's unheard of. That goes to the captain and his staff.
Sheriff, I have a quick question. If you're adding training for hires coming into the county with previous law enforcement experience, how long does that training take before they can be fully on the force?
Great question.
So we have them sit through in-house training that's about 10 weeks, and then we put them out on the road for about 12 weeks. So 22 weeks. Takes us about a month to hire them, and then a few months later, they're out on the road working. We're actually recruiting from out of state, which has been very fruitful for us. A lot of agencies across the country that are a little bit more liberal. The law enforcement officers don't feel like they can do law enforcement. They come to our agency, they see the sheriff. The sheriff is our best recruiter. No, I mean, sitting through interviews, you know, what made you want to come here? And it's seeing the sheriff on social media and how he supports us and, you know, does a phenomenal job. You know,
You're not getting a pay raise, you know that, right?
I know that, but you know, utilizing technology and, you know, we talked a lot about technology, but they, you know, these law enforcement officers throughout the nation see that, and that's where they want to work. And I mean, these guys are taking $20,000 a year pay cuts to come work for us, you know, with economies that are a little bit higher, like up north and out west. So yeah, they're coming, and it's great for Volusia County.
Thank you, Eric. Kyle, you want to touch on the beach? Everybody wants to talk about the beach. Of course, we haven't had a beach lately, which is good.
Yeah, currently there is no beach. Good morning. My name is Kyle McDaniel. I'm the captain of our newly created District 1, which encompasses the 47 miles of coastline in Volusia County. If you did not know, in June of last year, Governor DeSantis signed House Bill 1565, which gave the sheriff sole authority of the county law enforcement. So it forced us, the sheriff's office, to take over all law enforcement services of the beach. So that is my job. I'm responsible for the beach. And what we did last Friday, we created District 1, which we now have from Flagler County, south to Canaveral National Seashore, from the river east to the ocean. It is its own district. So we currently have 42 deputies that patrol the beach and the unincorporated areas of the beach side. So we're very excited for the challenges that we're going to face during spring break. We went through Memorial Day, Labor Day of last year. We were very successful. We hired 18 of the lifeguards. They are now deputy sheriffs. They're very excited to be over here. We're very excited to have them. So it was a great challenge that the Sheriff's Office took on, and we're super excited for the future of the beach in Volusia County.
Want to talk about your accreditation, since we're the only sheriff's office in the state?
Yeah, absolutely. So the 18 people we took over from beach safety, they came over, and during this transition, you know, one of the greatest challenges that we faced was, how do we continue to provide the same level of service? And we came up with, you know, these people we took over, let's allow them to continue being lifeguards. So we went out and we applied for the United States Life Saving Association certification, and we are the first Sheriff's Office and law enforcement agency in the state of Florida to have that certification. So they are deputy sheriffs, and they are USLA certified lifeguards as well. So it's super important, I think, for our visitors that come to Volusia County to know that the Sheriff's Office is doing everything they can to keep them safe on the land and in the water.
Did you pass your swim test?
I missed it for a CompStat meeting.
Ah, good answer. Good answer. School command, you want to tell the mayor what's going on, what we're seeing, with the new added resource officers and.
Yes. So recently we did a deep dive into the Uvalde report that was sent out. Some of that, the failures were on the leadership part as well as the law enforcement part. Same with Parkland. When I went down and toured Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, seeing where the failures were, we've been really trying to implement our best practices to ensure on that aspect that all of our guardians, our SROs and SRDs have the correct mental mindset, as well as our leadership, you know, that we're all prepared and ready to handle any crisis on that aspect. Then at the other side is, you know, we train these guys so that they have the correct mental mindset and that type of a scenario. But then on the school side, we need to make sure that we're not, you know, diminishing the de-escalation and how to handle things like that. So we're really pushing the training on the mental mindset for the one side, and then we follow that up with de-escalation, and this is how you deal with kids in every other scenario. And then we're making sure that all of our SROs, SRDs have the training from the ADA training to ensure that they know how to properly handle kids. And we've integrated ourselves with the student discipline team to ensure that we're all on the same page and that we're all working together to try to prevent things from happening. So if kids are just standing and they're all congregating in one area, that's where we could have a fight. So we go in and we make sure that the kids are moving, that the teachers are in their areas of responsibility, that they're doing the things that they're supposed to be doing to try to prevent things from happening in the first place. And our goal is to reduce, obviously, incidents throughout all the schools.
Very good. Ben, we'll give you the last word. Talk about what we're doing with SWAT and where we are with the new building that's going up and what that partnership with the Department of Energy is.
Good morning. I'm Captain Israel. I'm Captain over Special Services and one of the commanders of the SWAT team. A couple of years ago, we had the opportunity to, through the Office of Radiological Security, had an opportunity to take advantage of federal funding for training in this region. And in some talks, we asked if we can do something that was unorthodox. The question was, could we build a building instead of receiving a trailer? And they said absolutely, and 2 years later, we broke ground. We broke ground at the beginning of this year. This building that I'm speaking of is a tactical operations building. It's going to house SWAT and EOD, which is our bomb team. It also has a section of it that is a training facility for radiological security. We have 2 sites here in Volusia County that we're responsible for. And once this building is built, it'll be a regional asset for other agencies to come and train as well. The team has been doing a phenomenal job. We hit the ground running this year with search warrants. Thanks to the sheriff, we've gotten all the equipment that we needed to include some additional vehicles, and they've proven to be useful in some calls we've had here recently. So,
thank you. Anybody got any questions about anything? Well, Mayor, thank you. Mr. City Manager, thank you for opening up your house and hospitality, and thank you for the challenge coin. So, thank you all very much. Have a great day.